some Texas communities are still struggling 7 weeks after heavy rain pummeled that state, sweeping away hundreds of people in the middle of the night. As of today, 135 people lost their lives. There are 2 that remain missing, and the grueling search to find them continues. For the survivors, their lives are forever changed. The July 4th flooding leaving destruction and devastation in its wake. NewsNation's Jorge Ventura returning to that area today to get an update on the recovery efforts. He is live for us in Kerrville. How are folks there doing right now, Jorge, as they continue to process what happened, grieve, and clean up and rebuild?
Hey, Marni. Well, the community here is still grieving and coping with the trauma. Residents tell me that Kerrville will forever be changed after July 4th. And right behind me, Marni, you can actually still see this memorial set up by the residents here in Kerrville, right near the Guadalupe River. You can see these wooden crosses to honor the lives of the victims who lost their lives on July 4th. And you can see all of the wooden crosses having these green ribbons on them. And those green ribbons is meant to signify a symbol of support and remembrance for those victims. And actually right across from us, Marni, we could still see some crews working right now, clearing out the debris in those large cypress trees. And everyone who lives here knows someone who lost their lives on July 4th. And we are now seeing those green ribbons all over the city of Kerrville trying to show their support. We're also seeing signs saying Hill Country Strong and Kerrville United. Now, despite all the tragedy and pain, residents do tell me that they've never seen such a display of unity and compassion from people all across the country choosing to volunteer and come here and lend a hand to the survivors who are choosing to stay and rebuild and completely start over. One of those survivors is Greg Atkins, who lives right on the banks of the Guadalupe River. We actually met Greg the day after the deadly floods, and he says he feels lucky to barely make it out alive, and he is still devastated for the loss of his neighbors just down the road from his home, the Romero family. But for Greg and many here in Kerr County, he is living with a relative that he's now going through the insurance process and the hard work ahead of starting over. But despite the material loss, we did notice that Greg was always smiling, saying he is just thankful to still be alive, and he was incredibly grateful to all the volunteers who have showed up to his home looking for any way that they could help, trying to make the rebuilding process a little bit easier for a stranger.
It's just been marvelous, the volunteer support from families, from friends, from businesses, local businesses, businesses from outside, the Kerrville area and the Hill Country area, all over. So I can't feel any way but blessed in spite of the tragedy.
And we also spoke with Michelle McGuire, who lived near Camp Mystic in Hunt. Michelle says that when the floodwater struck her home inside, she woke up on her bed floating on the water and was nearly swept away. She says that her faith in God saved her life that day. Michelle lost everything in the floods. She was able to save herself when she hung onto a tree for dear life.
Gosh, 45 days later, I'm grateful to be alive, getting back on my feet. Samaritan's Purse is donating a brand new truck to me. I pick it up on Thursday, because mine floated by me when I was up in the tree.
And speaking with the survivors, what they tell me is that FEMA and the nonprofit groups and the fundraiser concert just a couple weeks ago that took place has actually really helped in saying that aid has gone directly to their survivors. And we continue to hear that through Kerr County. So some good news, Marni, that aid is getting to the survivors, and they say it is making the rebuilding process just a bit easier during this difficult period.
Jorge, I understand you also spoke to an 83-year-old woman who managed to climb a ladder and then get on the roof before she was rescued. What more did she tell you about that experience and how she's doing now?
Yeah, I got the opportunity to meet Penny Dupree. She's, as you mentioned, an 83-year-old woman, and her story is nothing short of a miracle of how her and her 8 family members were able to survive, and that includes her 1-year-old great-grandchildren and a 3-year-old. They were all able to make it onto the roof, and you can see some of the images there showing their home completely destroyed. Penny was able to climb out of a small hole. You're actually looking at that hole right now through the attic, climbed onto a ladder, and ultimately onto the roof, and they were able to survive. And take a listen to Kenny recounting those terrifying moments.
It's a miracle. It's absolutely a miracle. God was there every second. I had 9 people on the roof with me One baby a month old, a year old, one 3 years old, and we all made it.
This picture's unbelievable that she climbed up this ladder and out this hole. I mean, I don't know if I could do that.
Well, you don't have a choice. You don't say, I'm sorry, but I can't do that. You got two babies there that are my great grandchildren, and I am not going to give up.
And for search teams, the work is still not done. They are still looking for the last 2 remaining missing bodies, Marni.
Such resilience. All right, Jorge, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.